I don't know if anyone could relate to my problem or have even heard of it. Feels so bizarre to even write this. It's about my Mill and Sil, who is a spoiled brat. Sil is 29F and a single woman. Well, that's not a problem. The problem is she's an entitled woman who cannot take no for an answer. I'm 37F, married to my husband 40M for 12 years. We have 2 kids, 9-year-old boy and 5-year-old girl. Though we have a happy marriage, touchwood, my pain in the $@ is my overly dramatic Mill and overly pampered Sil. Before I tell you more about my situation, let me paint a picture of my Mill and Sil. They are social bees. They are like those upper-class rich women in soap opera who spend their afternoons at salons and massage parlors and spend the evening at bars with other useless women bitching about each other. They are women busy in their own delusional world. They don't work. All they do is shopping and gossiping. My Phil is busy making money and these women are busy spending them. Phil is almost non-existent member of the family, or rather just a cash cow. There is a rumor that Phil has a mistress and Mill knows about it. So it's kinda pact between them that he fulfills all their demands without any question while he gets to have a mistress. I don't know how true it is, but seeing Phil's role in the family looks like this is true. Otherwise, no sane man would remain quiet at Mill and Sil's stupidity. Coming to my miserable life. So last week Mill called and asked me out for lunch, and that too on a Wednesday afternoon. I wanted to say a straight up no, but it was after a long time that she wanted to meet me, so I discussed an alternate schedule. I said if we could meet on the evenings for dinner, but you know they are busy women in the evenings. Busy with friends at the gaming parlor. So, it was decided that we meet on Saturday afternoon. I go there in my normal outfit and she shows up in an utterly shimmery black dress. What a choice for an afternoon lunch. And she comes and criticizes my dressing sense. After done with the small talk, she starts off asking what were we planning to gift my Sil in her 30th birthday. I was confused because her 29th birthday was just a couple of months ago. I said her next birthday is like 10 months away. She laughed and said, that's why we need to plan it in prior. Remember what happened this time? She got upset with the gifts you guys gave. Her birthday just got spoiled. I rolled my eyes like, yeah, of course, we spoiled her birthday because we gave her a normal $250 dress and not a premium Zara one with a matching sapphire neckpiece. She went on to say, to avoid upsetting her, I have thought of a perfect gift which you guys should give it to her as her birthday present. And what was that? A baby? That's right. She wanted me to have a baby for her entitled brat. I was aghast. How could anyone even imagine that someone would ask for a baby as a gift? I could not comprehend what she was saying. I had to ask her multiple times if I heard it right. She said, yes, I want you to have a baby and gift it to Stacy, SIL, as her 30th birthday present. I flipped out, and why do you think I would do that? She yelled, to cover for your substandard gift this time. You ruined her 29th birthday, so you owe this to her. I stood up and said I don't owe anyone anything. I'm not a broodmare to breed a child and give it to her. I stormed off the restaurant. On the way home, I went to pick up my son from his friend's place. When I reached home, my husband asked me what happened between me and Mill. I asked him what he had been fed. My husband knows my Mill and Sil's tantrums, so he doesn't take them seriously. He said Mill called him and said she suggested a present for Stacy's birthday, which I refused to give it to her, and hence she was mad at me. I said yeah, she wanted your child to be given as a gift to your sister. Do you want that? For a moment, he thought I was joking and making up the entire thing. He was laughing, rolling on the floor. When I narrated the entire story, he was horrified. He was like, what is she even smoking? I made it clear to him that there was no way I was going to accept her demands. My husband pacified me and said we are not having any more children and we are definitely not giving it to Stacy. The next day was Sunday. We both were at home lounging on the couch, enjoying our day off, when Mill showed up at our house. I said I was tired and want to rest and headed towards my room. Mill stopped me and said she was here to apologize for the last day and asked me to hear her out. I felt so relieved that she finally came back to her senses. She said she was sorry for not giving enough context behind her request. She went on to say, you know Stacy is turning 30 next year and she has been single for a long time. It's driving her crazy. She needs a distraction in life and a baby would be a good way of keeping her happy. First of all, a baby is a full-grown human being and not a cotton candy which is brought to keep children happy. If the spoiled brat needs distractions or purpose in life, why doesn't she seek a job? But no, the princess doesn't work. She doesn't even lift a finger at her house. By the way, she still lives with my in-laws because she doesn't earn. She doesn't do any household chores because her nails would get chipped. If you meet her, you'll understand that her brain hasn't developed since her 14th birthday. The paint of her room is still pink and she owns innumerable pink dresses. She has no knowledge of the world around her. She won't even know the capital city or the president of the country. All she knows is that a huge sum of money just appears on her card which she blindly spends at the drop of a hat. I said, if Stacy is so keen on having a baby, why doesn't she adopt one? Mill laughed and said, oh, don't be lazy. It's been a while since you have been pregnant. So get the machinery back into action. Adopted babies are such a risk. Who knows what disease runs in their family? With you guys, it's safe. Can't you do this for your little Sil? I gave a look of would you please say something to my husband. He laughed and said that Mill was being ridiculous in her ask and I have a lot of motherly duties and career to handle and amidst this, I cannot have a baby. He also said how weird it would sound that her brother is the father of her child. To this, my Mill responded without a blink, why not? Maria's Dill is also a surrogate for Maria's daughter. So what's a big deal if your wife does the same for Stacy? I was like, what a minute. That was surrogacy. Maria's Dill carried Maria's daughter's child because she couldn't conceive and carry her child. It was a matter of medical condition. Here it's not. If Stacy had a problem having a baby, we would have given a thought of carrying her baby or even making a baby for her. The situation here is different. We have been asked to make a baby as if we are some sort of baby making machine. My husband suggested Stacy should find a guy for herself, settle down with him, and have her own family rather than complicating the situation here. Mill started sobbing and said her little girl had tried so many times to find a man for herself, but you know how sick men are these days. She pointed towards me and said, you're a lucky woman to have my son, but darling, not everyone is as lucky as you. Stacy cannot be with any ordinary man, you know. She has high standards. The man needs to treat her like we do. I said yeah, of course. The last man Stacy dumped was because he didn't buy her an overly expensive Gucci bag. Mill tried to justify her pampered princesses $1, but I stood up and said I feel nauseated with the discussion and I need to rest, and one more time, we are not gonna have a kid to gift Sil as a birthday present. After a while, my husband came into the bedroom. He cuddled me and tried to lighten my mood. I asked him what did he say to his mother. He said he had made it clear that we are not having any more children and they should stop bothering us. He said Mill stormed out of the house in anger. Evil bitch. Can you guys even imagine how ridiculous situation I'm facing? I want to bang my head against a wall or bang theirs to knock some senses into it. Update 1. Hey all. Thanks for engaging on my post. Some of the comments were truly hilarious. You guys are right in saying that Sil is mentally retarded. Even I feel it this way. Both Sil and Mill need to get their brains checked. Maybe it got buried under their pounds of makeup, lol. Had it been any other normal people, they would have backed off with the last conversation we had, but here we are dealing with two maniacs. Until now, it was just Mill, but now Sil also got into the picture. I tell you guys, she's 100 times more difficult to talk to because she doesn't understand logic. As I mentioned in my last update, Mill ruined my Sunday with her baby making pitch. A week later, on the next Sunday, bam, she again shows up with her darling doll. Seemed like they had pledged to ruin my day off. Stacy comes in wearing a skirt and a comfy blouse. This was the first time ever I had seen her without her teeny tiny skinny clothes. But her hair and nails were done perfectly. My Mill points out and says, do you see, Stacy has already started dressing like a mommy. So this was the reason for her changed dressing sense. Do they really think that changing your wardrobe would make you a mommy? Change your clothes and damn, you're ready to be a mom. Stacy smirked at me and said, I'm perfect in whatever I do. And then she rushes to hug her big brother as if she has not met him for ages. Remember I told you she behaves like a 14-year-old cutie pie. She screams as if everyone was standing far apart. When is the good news coming? My husband acted dumb and asked what good news she's talking about. She smirked and said, I know you want to give me your baby as a surprise gift on my 30th birthday. But mom's a spoiler. Now I know what's your plan. I'm so excited to be a mommy of a cute little girl. I have already started shopping for her. My husband stopped her in between. Glad he did because I was about to smack her head. He said that's not true, we are not gonna have any baby, forget about giving it as a gift. For a long time, she thought he was trying to hide it to not ruin the surprise. How delusional, you see. When she ultimately realized that she's not getting a baby present, she screamed at me, why not? You have always been cruel to me. This is your chance to make it even. Come on, go you guys, get me a cute little baby doll. I said, Stacy, we're not running a baby supply business where you order a cute baby girl and you get one. Do you even know how babies are made? She mellows down and said, you know I have always wanted a baby girl. I have so much love in me that I want to shower on my baby and you all are depriving me of that. That baby is gonna be the luckiest to have me as the mommy. I'm gonna raise her as a confident and successful woman. I assure you guys gonna be proud and won't regret a bit. You see, that's why I said you cannot talk to her, this bitch is mindless. First of all, do you guys think she's in her right senses to have a baby? She doesn't even understand that I have no control over the gender of my baby. You don't get choices, they're like a lipstick palette. Second, this witch has never ever lifted a baby in her arms. When my children were infants, she used to shoo them away because they might spit and soil her hair and clothes. Even now, she doesn't let my daughter come near her because she would mess with her nails and hair. How could you imagine this woman to be changing a nappy or swaddling a baby in the middle of the night? Moreover, I cannot suffer for a grueling 9 months and then bear harrowing delivery pain only to give away my child to this pampered princess and see her turning into a mini version of this entitled brat. Stacy was still blabbering her case of proving to be a great mother, but I had zoned out in my thoughts, which I wrote above. Suddenly I stood up and said, look Stacy, I know you would hate me for this. You anyways hate me always, so it doesn't make any difference. I'm not gonna have a baby for you. Do you get that, or should I write it down for you because it looks like you and your mother have lost your hearing abilities as well as your brains? My husband gestured at me to go easy, but I had lost my mind at their craziness. I told them that I didn't want any further discussion about this and that if they still pester me, I would block them from my house. I came to my room and slammed the door. I don't know, I might have overstepped my boundaries, but hey, look at them. I have no words to describe their toxicity. My husband tried to hint that I was outspoken, but I was so mad at everyone that he didn't dare to say anything further. He just said that his mom and sister called him a simp man and left. I don't care what they say. He needs to stop being a good person to everyone. This Sunday I was again prepared for another showdown, but it has been silent and I want to have it this way. I hope this nuisance ends here. Update 2. Oh no, how could I ever think this would end so peacefully? After the blowout, the next 2 weeks were quiet and peaceful. I felt so relaxed without Mill showing up at our door. But God, it wasn't silent at all. The hustle and bustle was going on online about which I had no idea. Stacy had been defaming me on social media that I was ripping off her chance to be a mother. She calls herself a beauty expert and posts makeup videos. She has decent followers in her account. I'm not so active on social media because I have life beyond screen. 2 kids and a real job. Anyways, Stacy claimed that her brother was game with the idea of having a baby for Stacy, but I was the bitch denying it. She expressed how she always wanted to become a mother, but since she was single she's not getting any luck in adoption. Such a lie. They never tried for adoption. Even if they did, I'm sure she wouldn't make it through the adoption interview. Stacy said all sorts of things to show me in a bad light. She said I was denying to give my baby because she's unmarried and I have conservative and rudimentary beliefs. I wanted to reply that I was denying the baby because she's dumb. I didn't know about her hate campaign until my husband's aunt called me to ask why was I doing this to Stacy. That's when I read everything. It was kind of funny how her stupid friends and relatives made me a villain. I mean, even if what she said was true, I still have a right to say no. It's my body and I can deny it. My husband said to ignore it and that this would pass like a season. I ignored it initially, but how could you not read a public post made against you? We ain't that thick-skinned. I realized she was taking my silence against me and talking trash about me. My friends and I came up with a plan to make Stacy taste her own medicine. I called up Stacy and said I'm deeply concerned by the online campaign she's running against me and the negativity is spoiling my reputation. So, I'm considering bearing a child for you. Yeah, I said this to satisfy her ego. Reputation my ass. I don't care what she or her stupid followers think about me, but she needed to be put into her place. She has been a pain in my dollar for a long time now. It's time to deal with her. I said, Stacy, why don't you come over and we discuss few things before we proceed? She was over the moon thinking she defeated me. When she came to my house, I said, since I have agreed to your demands, then why not we go live and inform everyone that you're gonna have a baby soon? It would help me wash off the negative reviews and you would also get good watch time. She's a social media enthusiast, so she agreed immediately. We went live and I said I have agreed to have a baby for Stacy, so let's have some questions for the would-be mama. Stacy was so happy with her victory that she didn't realize what she was signing up for. I asked, so Stacy, tell me, what plans do you have for the baby? She giggled and ranted, oh, I'm so excited to be a mama of a baby girl. I have already started shopping for her. I'm gonna make her look like a star right from her first day in this world. I'm never gonna leave her without makeup. She would always have to look perfect and presentable. I didn't clarify that no one assure her that I would be able to conceive a baby girl surely. I let the audience school her about it. Her answer already offended a lot of people and the video was flooded with negative comments and trolls. But Stacy was so busy expressing herself that she didn't notice any of it. I said, that's so sweet, Stacy, but what about the time when the baby is fussy and crying? How are you gonna manage? She was like, the girls of our family don't cry, do they? I mean, I have never seen your daughter cry. She's always so cleanly dressed up and so calm. Without making her feel stupid, I said, it's because you have seen her for a very brief period. All babies cry, and behind a clean, well-dressed baby, there are hours of firefighting by the mommy. She said, then you can take care of the crying and hand it over to me. Then I'll dress her up with cute frilly dresses and matching necklaces and tiaras and would put makeup on her. I couldn't stop my laughter and said, Stacy, babies cry days and nights. Are you saying you're gonna bring her to me whenever she cries and then take her back when she stops? She yelled out, yeah, that's right. Why not? I couldn't pretend anymore and gave an evil laugh. She said, you're trying to scare me off. Don't you? How hard that can be. You have done it. I can also do it. I'm so much better than you. I have so many followers and I have so much better dressing sense than you. While ranting out this, she closed the live video. She was pissed off at me for grilling her on live video, but she didn't realize what damage it had done to her. She said, we are game for the baby. I smiled with a straight face. She left. My friend recorded the entire live session. I wrote a long post pointing out how Stacy and her mother have been forcing me to have a child and give it to her as a birthday gift. I meticulously pointed out all the red flags as to why Stacy cannot be trusted with a child. Her answers were enough for people to understand what a shit-headed woman she was. I mentioned all the other details about Stacy that was not covered in her answers. I tagged her in that post and released it post-midnight after the princess went to sleep. She would wake up on the next day afternoon, and by the time she untags herself, the post would have reached thousands of people. As expected, my post blew up, thanks to Stacy's followers. Tagging her in the post helped. Her followers trolled her immensely as to how someone with such a low IQ could even exist on the planet. One of the comments read, "Forget about being a mother, this woman shouldn't be left free alone on the streets." After this online battle, my mill calls me. Before she could say anything, I said, "Before you utter a word, let me tell you that you're being recorded and I'm not gonna hesitate to post it publicly." My God, she hung up and never called back. Neither did I get a call from the spoiled princess because I told Mill that I'm gonna record all the calls and chats from them, and if they ever try to create trouble at my house, I'm gonna record that too. It was so satisfying to put them in their place. My husband and I are still laughing reading the comments of the trollers on the Sills video. It's just so hilarious. Now on to the next story. Story 2. Caught my GF cheated on me with my cousin. I kicked her out of our apartment, exposed their affair to all our friends and family, and now she's vanished without a trace. My girlfriend and I had been together for 3 years before my entire world fell apart around me. I thought that she was the one for me, and I even planned on marrying her. However, she cheated on me with my cousin. To begin with, she and I met at a nightclub 3 years ago. She was the hottest woman there and I didn't think I stood a chance at getting far with her, but I had to try. Surprisingly, she was interested in me and we went out the next day. We had been together ever since. She moved into my apartment a year and a half after we started dating. It seemed right and I didn't question if it was too soon or not because I was head over heels in love with her. My cousin who used to live down south ended up accepting a job position in New York where we lived. I was able to talk to my building manager to get a decent apartment set up for him since he couldn't come to the city to look for one himself. I was stoked for him to be close by. We had always been good friends when we were younger, and we often played games online together. I thought it was going to be nice having family close by. Once he was all settled in, we would hang out with each other quite often. He would come over to our apartment because I had a nice gaming setup and we would play. He was never shy about letting me know he thought my girlfriend was insanely attractive. He was my cousin, so I never thought he would act on any of his feelings, so I would laugh it off and agree with him. I never noticed anything going on with them while I was around. She wouldn't sit next to him, they wouldn't really even talk much, and they seemed to respect each other's personal space. So a few months after he moved in, I was grabbing coffee with a friend. I thought it was just going to be me and one of my college buddies, but he actually showed up with his new girlfriend. I was a little shocked to see him there with her because she was actually my girlfriend's work friend. We had tried to set them up at a party, but we didn't think they were hitting it off very well. Apparently, they had been keeping things low profile because they didn't want to put any pressure on their relationship. I thought it was so funny that they were together and I wanted to surprise my girlfriend with that news because I knew she'd love it. I texted her and told her that she should come to the cafe because there was a surprise I wanted her to see. I got a message back shortly after that she couldn't because she was hanging out with her friend. The friend she told me she was hanging out with was the one sitting right across from me at the cafe. Obviously, she was lying about what she was doing. But why she was lying was what I couldn't understand. I ended up lying to my friends and telling them that my girlfriend had a migraine and needed me to bring her some medication, so I left the cafe and went right home. When I got there, she was nowhere to be seen. However, I could see that she had makeup on the bed and she had clearly tried on a couple of outfits. I was really nervous that something was going on that I didn't know about, and I needed to talk to someone about it. I walked down the hall to talk to my cousin. There was loud music playing in the background, but I knocked on the door for a minute until he heard me. I heard a lot of shuffling around, but he opened the door a moment later. He tried to laugh it off by telling me that he had company and that he would come over later. Again, I had no reason to think that my girlfriend was cheating on me with my cousin, so I didn't assume it was her in there. I didn't assume it was her until I saw a shirt that I bought her for her birthday on the arm of the couch behind my cousin. I played it cool and I nodded my head and went back to my apartment. As soon as I got there, I looked around for any other signs that she was cheating. I ended up going into her laptop and looking through her Facebook messages with my cousin. Doing that completely broke my heart. I saw that my cousin had reached out to her and asked what it was about me that she liked so much. She told him that she thought I was funny and had a good personality, but he replied saying that I didn't seem like her type. He told her that he was her type. My girlfriend didn't disagree. They were extremely flirty and at one point she messaged him the classic just got out of the shower message. After that, they sent a couple of suggestive pictures, with some very sexual messages. Earlier that day, my cousin had messaged her that he couldn't stop thinking about her and that he needed to be with her. He told her to come up with some excuse to go to his apartment, and she did. I knew it was over between my girlfriend and one was going to be cutting my cousin off from my life entirely. But I was definitely going to out their little tryst to everyone I knew. I took screenshots of everything that I saw, sending them to myself so I had it in case my girlfriend tried to lie. Luckily, my name was on the lease and hers wasn't because she moved into my apartment. So, I would at least get to kick her out. She came home a few hours later and right away I told her to get out. She was confused, but I told her that I found out about her and my cousin and that I wanted her out of the apartment or I would file a legal complaint. I left for the night and told her that she had 48 hours to leave. While I was away, she and my cousin had both called me dozens of times but I ignored every single one of them. While I was gone, I gathered all of my relatives into a group chat and I told them everything about what happened. Everyone was so disappointed in my cousin for doing what he did. His parents were even in the chat. They all apologized profusely, even though they didn't do anything. Shortly after, I got a bunch of messages from my cousin where he was calling me a coward and telling me that he had members of the family messaging him and telling him that he was a scumbag. I didn't really care. He was a scumbag. My girlfriend and I had a lot of the same friends, so I put all of them in a group chat and told them about what happened as well. They were all completely shocked by what they heard, and they were on my side. While I was talking to them, a couple of the girls in the chat told me that my girlfriend was trying to call them to ask for a place to stay. They felt bad, but they said no because they didn't believe that what she did was right. I went back 2 days later and my girlfriend was out of the apartment. I had no idea where she'd gone because all of our friends had decided to ghost her. I found out that she ended up staying with my cousin. However, their personalities clashed quite a bit and he ended up kicking her out after a week. From that point, I have no clue where she went. I guess I learned that you really can't put your trust in just anyone, not even family.